Apparently, we elected Elon Musk as president. What a year. The stake starts now. Welcome, everybody, to the final episode of the year of The Stakes, brought to you by the Seneca Project. I'm Tara Setmayer, my co-founder, Michelle Kinney. We are here with you as we reflect on the year, talk about what's happening in these final weeks of the Biden administration as we head into the new year and the transition that's still going on. We're still processing the fact that Donald Trump is about to be president again. It's still like very surreal to us, but we wanted to make sure we came to you guys and had one last show before we all enjoy the holidays, perhaps our last free holiday as a democracy. I don't know. I hope not. But yeah, here we are.
Jingle bells, jingle bells.
I have my jingle bells. I have them.
It's like so dystopian feeling, if I'm being honest.
It feels
really
very, very V from Vendetta. V for Vendetta. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
Where they hide stuff from the other world before the authoritarianism to remember. That's what it feels like. But you know what? I'm not going to let them steal my joy. And if they're going to take our democracy from us, we're damn sure going to make it hard for them to do it. So
That's right.
That's the way that is. So I'm wearing my little festive cat ears and my little jingle bell necklace today. I have my holiday set, which is, become a tradition now with my Christmas story leg
I
lamp.
love with the leg lamp.
Yes, fragile.
Fragile.
Yes, it must be Italian. It's a major award. But, there's so much to talk about, Michelle. And I just kind of feel like the fact that there is this level of chaos already, we're only a few days before Christmas. The government could potentially shut down because Elon Musk, the president-elect, apparently decided to blow up the budget deal that was bipartisan. Democrats and Republicans, they agreed to it. And then Elon Musk, who doesn't know anything about anything, who is from South Africa, came here, overstayed his student visa or whatever, and has become the richest man in the world and bought the presidency, and now he's pulling the strings, decided that he didn't like it and blew it up on a group chat, apparently. I don't know. There's a text chat happening between Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, and the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. And it's chaos. And they're not even in power yet, fully. Like, it's still December, people. This is a preview of what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
On January 20th at 12:01.
They don't have the keys to the castle yet, just to the driveway. And they're already setting things on fire. It's just the thing is, I know that part of their strategy is always to flood the zone, to create chaos so that the people on our side, the good side that want to preserve our democracy, don't know where to go first.
Right.
And so, unfortunately, part of this opposition that we're going to be mounting over the next year, 4 years, however many years, we can't die on every hill. We have to fight the battles that we can win, or at least make it harder for them. So, what those are quite yet, I don't know, but it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Yay. I can tell you right now where it starts with some of these cabinet picks that Trump has put forward. And the last time we were together, we thought for sure Pete Hegseth was dead. And after the Jane Mayer story in the New Yorker that uncovered his drinking, his financial mismanagement of two veterans organizations that had very small staffs compared to what the Pentagon would be.
Right.
That seemed pretty overwhelming. And yet here he is, as defiant as ever. Donald Trump standing by him. A bunch of people did the pilgrimage to Donald Trump and the suite at the Army Navy game last weekend. It was in Washington, D.C. I remember when that game used to be in Philly. So I at Veterans Stadium. So I didn't realize that it was in D.C. Because I was like, I looked at the list of all the people who were there.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the? And then I'm like, oh, okay. It was at where the Redskins play, or the Commanders, or the corner stores, whatever they're called now. But it was at their stadium in Maryland, right outside DC.
Okay.
But like, Elon Musk was there, of course, because, like I said at the top of the show, apparently he's actually the president-elect because he's on every call. He's following Donald Trump around. I used to say that Lindsey Graham was like a barnacle on John McCain's ass. Well, now it's Elon Musk who's on Trump's ass, and all the people who want to kiss
Or the
him
other
have
way
to get-
around.
or whatever, but they are up each other's asses, and this is what's going on. I don't know. What happened to JD Vance? Is that guy still around? Because where is he? I don't know. Because
Right.
Elon Musk is fulfilling all the roles. He's first lady, he's vice president, he's president-elect. Apparently, these dumbass Republicans want him to be Speaker of the House now. Legit.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I saw that today. I was like, these
What?
people are so deeply unserious.
I know.
Unserious people.
I know. And before people say, well, how can he be? He's not elected. He can't be Speaker of the House. The Speaker of the House doesn't have to be an elected person. It could be anyone. It could be anybody. We could be Speaker of the House if we had enough votes.
Well, they were, during the Biden administration, they were talking about, the Republicans were talking about making Donald Trump the Speaker of the House. I was like, yeah, like he's going to know what to do with a gavel. Like, get out of here.
Right. Like he would, like, I don't think he'd be able to find his way to the
He's
floor.
like, Robert's Rules of Order. What?
Yeah. What's that? I mean, he doesn't know what like parliamentary rules mean.
No.
He has no idea. And neither does Elon Musk. He doesn't know how any of this works. And the fact that he's running around blowing shit up and then like acting as though he knows what's going on is insane. And Republicans are like, yeah, we're going to follow behind this guy. No. No. What are you people doing? Elon, you know what though? I had a conversation on Mary Trump's streaming show. I'm part of the Nerd Avengers. And they were like, let him do it. Let him do it. And then the American people can see how asinine this is and what a circus it is. And I'm like, I hear you, but there's like real world consequences to handing the keys to the kingdom over to, or actually it's more like handing the keys of the car, of the bus over to these idiots that don't know how to drive it. And it's a bus full of like kids. You want to give that to them? No, because they're like, oh, well, you want to drive? Here you go. No, because there's real consequences. You could like kill everyone. Right. So it's, the House of Representatives, our government is not something to just be played around with. Let's just experiment. No.
This is the one time that the Mel Robbins let them theory does not apply.
Yes, my good friend Mel Robbins. Congrats, by the way, Mel, on your book, on Oprah, on all your success. I love you.
So great.
Good for you, Mel. Wonderful. You deserve it. But yeah, like it's not right. We can't just let them. We're not going to let them. We're not going to hand the matches to the kids so they can run around and light the whole thing on fire. Like and go, wow, look how pretty the fire is. No. So that's kind of how it feels though. And the fact that you have Rand Paul and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Marsha Blackburn and again, unserious people that are like, yeah, let's make Elon Musk the speaker.
I just want to say there's so many times, especially at the beginning of this Trump era, that I was I'm like, should I run for office? Should I run for office? And I'm like, no, I'm not really qualified. And then I see people that are just complete sirens, that are just complete morons, crazy people, unserious. I don't know how they get up and tie their shoes in the morning, quite frankly.
Listen, if Lauren Boebert can be a member of Congress, if George Santos, can get elected, believe me, both you and I could get elected quite easily. I've always wanted to be a member of Congress. That was something that I wanted to run for office since I was in college. And my whole life plan was eventually to run for Congress back home in New Jersey. And then this Trump shit started and it made me rethink, like, now is not the time. Just because what can you accomplish in this right now? Not to say that that's not off the table in the future at some point, but like, especially now, since I'm politically homeless, technically, it's difficult to run unless you're affiliated with one party or the other. And, I mean, I'll never be a Republican again. That's obviously out. And the Democrats, I love my Democratic friends, but there are issues ideologically and some policy issues that I don't align with. However, that doesn't mean that I'm not closer to the Democrats now on
right.
basic things,
The
right?
goalposts have moved.
They have moved, and so has the Overton window.
Yeah.
On a lot of stuff. But again, it's that's still down the road. But to your point, it's like, if you're not already there, why would you go there now? It's good God.
Oh,
but
right.
we need good people there. We do need good
Yes.
people who are sane and who are fighters, who are willing to stand up and to fight. And we've seen that with some of the younger, newer, fresher voices in the Democratic Party. We saw AOC try to become the ranking member of the Oversight Committee, which is going to be an important one to try to temper and push back a lot of the Trump nonsense with the MAGAs. She lost out to 74-year-old Jerry Connolly. Good guy. He has cancer that he's being treated for. He's been around for a very long time.
Yeah.
I don't know why Nancy Pelosi made the decision. I'm not in the Democratic circles
I'm
like
done.
that. But
I'm done.
Nancy Pelosi was the one who sunk that. And
at what point are we going to say, all right, let's pass the baton to the next generation or generations?
Right.
Because that's really what, I mean, the boomers have been in power here for a little bit, right? And the Gen X, the millennials, the Gen Z now are running for office. So it's like,
well, they're like, what's above the boomers? The greatest generation, World War II generation, right? Nancy Pelosi's 84.
Yeah.
Like Clyburn is 83, I think. They're all in their, like, the luminaries, they're in their 80s plus, right? They're up there with Joe Biden older. And no disrespect, but when we talk about moving forward, it's like, thank you for showing us the way and kicking ass while you did it. But at some point, we have to move forward, because the messengers and how Democrats are communicating their agenda, whether they are what they stand for, who they're fighting for, that did not come across in this election. That's why they lost. That's why Donald Trump won.
A lot of the complaints are that they're out of touch with people, with young people, with the biggest voting bloc in the country.
And that doesn't mean to be like more progressive and more liberal.
It just means
simply communicating more clearly.
Right. And also, do you know the struggles that we have had as a generation? You know, the housing crisis that is affecting everybody. Gun violence in this country. I mean, starting with my generation with Columbine, still going on every single day. Yep. And this is not something that people had to deal with growing up before 1999. Right. So, that's a different set of struggles and fears and danger. And people want to feel like there's someone representing them that understands those things.
That's right. I didn't do active shooter drills. I'm guilty as charged. I'm a Gen Xer, but we did like school bus evacuation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We jumped out the back of the bus.
Innocent times.
Yeah.
Innocent times.
We got very excited when the fire department would come in elementary school, and we got to go outside and like go on the bus and go out the back. Like, that's what we did.
I remember that. And it was like really fun to like jump out the back. It was like, oh my God, the back door.
Yes. And then we got lollipops from all the firemen. It was like, it was gay.
Yeah.
That's not the case now. I mean, that shooting recently that happened this week in Wisconsin, horrible, in a Christian school, a second grader called 911 about the shooting. I mean, like this is just, it's heartbreaking that we have a problem. No other country has this problem but America. And I'm a very pro Second Amendment person. We're a gun owning household legally. However, there's a problem, and we need to get to the bottom of it. And it's a holistic. It's not just one thing or the other. You're not going to just confiscate all the guns. There's more guns than people in this country.
Right.
But there needs to be more common sense gun control legislation so that it makes it more difficult for these people to get guns. And red flag laws. I'm a big proponent of those.
And also, I mean,
mental health.
I mean, not to go there, but it's the assault weapons ban, was lifted. And then we have a whole new problem here with weapons of war on the streets of the United States.
That's true too. But then again, there were still mass shootings when the assault weapons ban happened. And it was a girl this time, a 15-year-old girl.
Crazy. I read something that she was like a Columbine.
Yes, she had
like
a
fan
t-shirt.
girl.
Yeah, she had a t-shirt on of the same band that the Columbine shooters wore. which is crazy because she wasn't even alive when that happened.
Right.
So,
I mean, I think about this. I was a junior in high school.
yeah,
I
was in
am now
college.
42 years old.
Yep.
And that shooting was the powder keg. I mean, it defined the rest of the children's lives that came after us.
It changed law enforcement responses. Yes. It was a watershed moment in this country. And here we are. And it's, she used a handgun. And it's like,
see, I didn't read too much about it. It's like,
yeah, I know. I mean, it's just depressing, and it's almost like, oh my God, not again. And then and all around the same time as the Sandy Hook anniversary. It's just, it's awful. But these require real common sense solutions. And the people who are making the laws now, Republicans, are completely unserious. And the important things that impact everybody's lives are not being addressed because they're too busy jerking off to the idea of Elon Musk as our Speaker of the House. Like, what are we doing? I cannot. So here we are, a couple days before Christmas, hundreds of thousands of government employees, including our military, may or may not get their paychecks this weekend because Elon Musk decided that he wanted to cosplay being a member of Congress and blew up the bipartisan budget deal.
And this is where the cult of Trump thinking, like, I don't know where this permeates into people's minds, that this is the cause and effect. Like, they voted for Donald Trump and now this is what they're going to get.
We warned them.
Voted for Donald Trump because of egg prices, and now they're going to get this. I mean, did you see what the stock market was doing? This, I mean, he rang the bell.
10 days.
Yeah, he rang the bell, and then now it's like in
10 straight days. This hasn't happened since like Nixon, and everything Trump touches dies, as someone used to say. But you know what? I mean, we look at this and it's like, that's because they see the chaos. And the markets are going, whoa, wait, hold on. Wait, what's going to happen?
Right.
I mean, at least the Fed dropped her interest rates a little bit, but but they said that they were going to do 4 rate drops next year. Now they're worried about inflation and things ticking back up because they're going to see that the deficit is going to balloon if Donald Trump and his tariffs and all that bullshit happen. So like, yeah, we're probably not going to be able to do that.
So
we're only going to do
threatening
3.
Canada. Like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. Oh, Canada should be the 51st state. What? Like, cuckoo.
Canada,
cuckoo
if you
stuff.
hate us, I don't blame you.
I know. The Canadians are the nicest. They got their own shit going on up there. But Canada's like on fire too.
I know. They're having a real problem, right? I mean, it's all around the world. It's all around the world. This far right. I mean, I don't know if it's like an internet thing where, there's so much propaganda and so much Russian and Chinese influence on
that matters. How people get their information now. It spreads more quickly.
Right. And it's cheaper. You don't need to go to war, no boots on the ground. You just have to hire a few thousand, troll farm people and you're good to go. If that.
Yep. It's asymmetric warfare. This is what it looks like in 2024. And it's clear that Western style democracies are not ready for it.
No.
And our enemies and our adversaries who don't give a shit about free speech or truth or integrity or rule of law are taking advantage of that.
Of course. And
that's why we have it.
To that point, the transition is now happening over private emails.
When you told me this today, I was just like, you've got to be kidding me.
Private emails, kids.
Sound familiar? Does that sound familiar?
Upon a time, there was a little girl named Hillary. And this was
and she had a couple servers.
Yes. The crime heard around the world. But now it's just old hat. Federal officials are nervous. Yes.
Yes. You think? You think. Listen, when you've got billionaires out here, the richest man in the world, the third richest man in the world, and a bunch of other rich freaking billionaire crazy people, all traipsing to Mar-a-Lago, doing the pilgrimage, giving money, $1 million here and there to the inauguration fund, and having dinner with Donald Trump, kissing his ass, like I said, down there at Mar-a-Lago. And we can't track what's happening with the
Nope.
transition and who's doing what and where, who's making promises to whom, who's doing foreign policy stuff offhand, what deals are being struck behind our backs while the Biden administration is still in power. Like, there's a reason why you have a transition that's supposed to be out in the open.
Yep.
It's for accountability. And these people are setting it up so that there's no accountability. And all of Trump's cronies are going to be in positions of power to shield him from any accountability and for any accountability for themselves.
Well, and this is also, I mean, it's the dictator's mentality, right? It's that nothing can get me. I'm going to live forever. There's that. And then there is this invincibility that I think people with that kind of wealth already feel.
Yes.
Because they're like, come and get me. I can buy you 1,000 times over.
Elon Musk.
Right.
He's over here threatening people that don't do what he wants with primary challenges. Oh, you're not going to vote for Pete Hegseth in the Senate? Okay, Joni Ernst, we'll have somebody primary you.
Yeah, they were running ads against her, 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
In Iowa. Crazy.
Yes. Crazy. And so what do we learn in Poli-Sci 101? That elected officials are single seekers of re-election. That is their rational motivation. Oftentimes for what they do and how they do it is because they want power, and to maintain power, they have to stay in office.
Yep.
So they're going to do what their benefactors want. And oftentimes not necessarily what their constituents want.
Right. And take a match to their moral compass and light it on fire. I mean, that's where I've really been giving this a lot of thought, thinking about, what do these people think when women are bleeding out in parking lots, when they're hearing about women dying of miscarriages. And it dawned on me. I'm like, oh, they don't care.
Right.
To them, it's just a sacrificial lamb. We will sacrifice however many women it is. And we'll try not to we'll shield ourselves from having to find out by closing down offices and government agencies that would count this kind of thing. And we'll shield ourselves, we'll shield all of our constituents from it so that we can just sacrifice these women for the greater good of, I don't know, making women stay at home, have babies, control their bodies. I don't know. It's whatever weird religious nut job stuff.
Yeah, which there's a bunch of them that apparently have no problem with this now in the Republican Party and who are elected officials. And Elon Musk is another one of them. President-elect Musk with his however 18 kids by different women. And I mean, look at these chooches.
Yeah.
I can't. I cannot.
So for anybody listening and not watching, Michael Steele tweeted, there's a picture, I guess they're on Trump's plane. Donald Trump and Elon Musk are sitting on one side and Mike Johnson's clearly taking a selfie from the other side of the aisle. And Michael Steele said, President-elect Elon Musk feeling real good about killing the bipartisan funding bill to keep the federal government from shutting down. Donald Trump and Speaker Johnson happy for his success. Such a strong beginning for the incoming Musk administration. Now, first of all, this has picked up some steam.
Yes.
Now, anybody who knows the audience of one strategy knows that these kinds of things get under his skin. Yep. And I have long been wondering how long this little duo was going to last. Yep. And because it's not the normal kind of Donald Trump has a little barnacle on his ass. And this is the richest man in the world who pretty single-handedly with his money elected him.
Yes.
So correct. I have
and
to
literally goodbye.
Was having monthly calls with Vladimir Putin. So who knows how much compromise he has access to? I mean, I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, but just control over this man. So I don't know that Donald Trump is as sick of Elon Musk as I'm sure he already is going to be able to shed him.
Well, that's the thing. And if you want, what is happening there, by the way?
So close. He's he's leaning into that photo and he's like,
what's happening on his head? Oh, what is going on there?
I didn't clip that, but did you see the video of him at Mar-a-Lago where he came out in his golf shirt?
Yes.
It looked like a blonde Kim Jong-un hairdo.
like he went like a helmet. Like he put it on.
Super sprayed.
I don't know what's happening there, but he looks terrible. Our girl Jasmine Crockett is also in on the action because she's fabulous and a fighter and fierce, and we love her. She said on Twitter today, she said, which branch of government does Elon Musk belong to? Asking for a friend. Then she said, let me help the slow ones chiming in. We only have 3 branches in the United States government: the executive, legislative, and judicial.
Mhm.
Because a bunch of people were chiming in saying all kinds of crazy things
Oh,
because
yeah.
on Twitter it's a cesspool.
Yeah, I
And
can't
if you
even.
are not following us on Blue Sky, we have
Yes.
migrated over there. We're still on Twitter a little bit, but we're probably not going to be for much
Yeah,
longer after January
personally,
20th.
I'm out. Like,
I
I
know
can't
you
do it
are.
anymore.
I'm still migrating over,
You
and
have so many followers, like, I get it, you know?
yeah,
But
I mean, we're trying to figure out the way to get them over there. So
yeah.
if you don't have Blue Sky, it really feels just like Twitter, but like a nice place.
Mm,
It looks the
it's so
interface and everything is very similar, so you don't really have to learn anything too
No,
new.
it's very, very similar.
It's very similar. They just need to have videos go a little longer than 60 seconds because that's all you can do now. And I think they have hashtags yet. I'm not sure,
Yeah,
but
I think so. I think
and of
so.
course it's run by women, which is why it's fabulous. So
It's run by women, and I think a big criticism coming from the crazies on the right is like, oh, it's an echo chamber. I'm like, first of all, you want to talk echo chamber?
right.
Like pot kettle, hello.
Some nerve. Yeah.
Right, some nerve. But second of all, this is not an echo chamber. First of all,
That's
I've been
true.
yelled at several times on Blue Sky already.
You got yelled
Okay.
at for going for busting boomers.
But it wasn't even. All I just said is that, like, they weren't on Facebook at first. I was like, because I was like, Blue Sky feels like Facebook before the boomers came on. And I just was
Right.
kind of generally saying that
I
because
don't know why you were attacked.
Facebook used to just be for college kids, and I
Right.
had a college thing, and so it was just like drunk pictures and like people doing nonsense, and like then like the grown-ups came and we were like,
Yeah.
we can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So that's all the point I was trying to make. And
I know.
oh my God,
The boomers
what
are
are you trying to
sensitive.
say? People were sending me middle finger emojis. I'm like, I didn't say anything.
You didn't tell me you got that bad.
Yes, one guy was like,
not the boomers giving you the
I was like,
Jersey
I
salute.
didn't even say anything.
That's
My parents are
hysterical.
boomers. I love my parents. Like,
Yeah, so are mine. I actually for Christmas I was looking at getting them like a boomer T-shirt. This is like boomer and proud because they do something very boomerish at least once a day. Mom, sorry, I know you're watching. The other day, I think it was yesterday. Jesus, it feels like a week ago. I had to drop my car off to get a oil change. So my mom and my stepdad picked me up from the dealership so that so I could get a ride back to the house. And my mom is like, I don't understand how this CarPlay works. It doesn't work. There's something wrong with it. And my stepdad's like, can you please show your mother how to work the CarPlay? And I was like, I was like, you guys,
girl,
you've had this car for a year and a half. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with the CarPlay. You have to turn it on in your settings. And so I did it like toot. My mom was like, well, I turned it off before because I can't watch YouTube
it's just a
at the
different
same
language.
time. I'm like, Mom, what do you mean you turned it off? Well, that's why it's not on. So I'm like, wait, why are you watching YouTube and Waze at the same time? She goes, well, not when I drive. And I was like, oh my God. I said, you're going to have to pick.
This is like the Gen Z kids trying to teach me how to use Snapchat. I'm like, what? And they're like, you're such a millennial. Stop. You're so old.
Oh my God. So yeah.
Shut up.
Anyway, so I know that there's lots of people who can relate to this. And my parents are cool boomers though. They're like not like, they're like elderly boomers. They're actually cool, but they do boomer stuff all the time and they laugh at themselves about it. And it's pretty funny.
And
that was a funny one, the CarPlay.
Well, and the older boomers, I will say this, went through some shit in the 60s and Vietnam, and dealt with a lot of bullshit that I don't think they get enough credit for because it was only a sliver of the generation that really had to deal with it. The older boomers. My parents were both born in 1950, so that was their friends, that was their their neighbors. So I will say there is a sliver of that generation that really went through some shit.
Yes.
Now the younger ones, sometimes I'm like, what are you doing?
But I know. I hear you. But that also kind of leads me to, it's a good segue into what we've been doing lately. And, we've been watching what's going on. And as we've been recalibrating and preparing for this upcoming year and the elections and what's to come, we've been watching people just capitulating. And it started with the media. It really started with Joe and Mika, Morning Joe folks going down to Mar-a-Lago. I mean, the
First
ballots
domino.
weren't even cold yet, and they're down there kissing Trump's ass. And it was very jarring. I have not watched Morning Joe since, by the way, and apparently lots of
Me
other
neither.
people haven't either
Me
because the
neither.
ratings have plummeted. But I just felt like I don't care what their excuse was, other than doing an interview, which is fine, as it's newsworthy, which they did not do and still have yet to.
Right. And if
There was no
there's a
excuse
lot of
for what they did.
excuses I'm here. Well, they're journalists. I'm like, they're not
No, they're not.
journalists.
No, they're
They're
not.
talking heads.
Correct. They're not
Very
journalists.
different.
And all the excuses they gave, and then that being so like indignant about it when people called them on it, it was off-putting for me. But it's there, and then just seeing what's happening with other publications. You've got the owner of the LA Times who's telling the editorial board what they can and cannot write. He wants
Another
them
South
to see,
African, by the way.
yeah, another South African. What is it with these people? Telling them they have to send him their opinion pieces first for approval and who the writer is, which is
My
I'm sorry,
favorite.
what?
So when I remember like when the first story came out saying that they're not going to endorse or whatever, this was before the election day.
Yep.
And they were like, well, it's because my daughter and Palestine. And I was like, I don't think that's why. And it's very clear that was a lie.
Yeah, that was
people
bullshit.
Don't care.
No, that was bullshit.
And our friend Harry Litman.
Yep. Harry Litman resigned in protest because he was part of the LA Times editorial team. He would write op-eds for years as a legal analyst. And he said, I'm out, because they're also going to use some type of AI bias meter algorithm thing. And he was like, the fuck out of here. Like, I don't know what that is. This is censorship. This is controlling what we're saying. This is not free speech. I'm out.
Crazy.
And shortly after, then we find out now more. And they have Scott Jennings, that another, you want to talk about another jackass, this guy that has gone I mean, I can't stand him. Yeah, he's
a
become
smarmy little jackass.
With the snarky comments and the grin and the, oh my God. And he did all of that. He didn't used to be like that.
Well, until he saw.
Correct. Because I remember when he first showed up at CNN, we were both contributors together, and he called me and asked me if the little $35,000 guarantee was normal. And I said, I guess when you first get there, yes. I'll never forget that. He didn't know he didn't know how to navigate and all that. And he was always like a Mitch McConnell guy. He was always like the buttoned up guy. But then in the last year and a half, 2 years, he's turned into a Brooks Brothers obnoxious Trumper. And I guess he thought he was going to get the press secretary job or like a job in the White House. But I guess but I guess he forgot that Trump doesn't watch CNN. And he's a Mitch McConnell guy. So Trump's never bringing him into his inner circle. Are you kidding me?
Especially
so he did all of that for what?
Mitch McConnell's not really like in leadership anymore. And so, he's having all these, Trump must be stopped, this crazy. I'm like, really, dude? Really?
I don't care what he says.
You did this as much as everybody else did. I'm talking SCOTUS picks. I'm talking obstruction. I'm talking about all those bills that sat on your desk that you refused to bring to the floor. I'm talking about not convicting Donald Trump after January 6th.
That's the key right there.
Yeah.
Because we
wouldn't have been in this situation.
Correct. We would not be here now. So, Mitch McConnell can kiss my ass, whole ass. Because
polio, Mr. Polio, I had polio, like it has enabled getting rid of polio vaccine.
Right. Right. Like it's insane. The cognitive dissonance is insane. I don't know. But all of this, we've been watching it, and more as people have kind of picked themselves up after the election and realized, okay, this is where we are. What are we going to do about it? More people, the attitude I'm finding is that there are lots of people who are like, okay, this is some bullshit. Democrats, all right, let's go. Like, we're going to mobilize the opposition here.
Yeah.
And not make it easy for them.
Right.
Meanwhile, you have some Democrats, though, that seem to think, well, we should just maybe work with the Republicans, or I'm okay with so-and-so being in charge of this. And, well, I'm going to work on the DOJ committee with Elon Musk. Maybe he's got some idea. What? Are you people insane?
Listen, Ro Khanna.
I mean, I think this is a good time to show our latest video because we decided that we needed to do something because that's what we do. And we've been telling people we will not obey in advance. We have our t-shirts out there on the website. If you haven't gotten one, go ahead and get one. We've got t-shirts, we have mugs and sweatshirts. Will not obey in advance. That is taken from the rules about how to fight tyranny from Timothy Snyder's book On Tyranny. It's a must read. It's only 90 pages. It's like a pamphlet and it's really instructive, especially now. And he also has a new book out called On Freedom. Also,
I just bought that the other day. I'm going to read it over Christmas.
Me too. Me too. Great minds think alike. But we were like, okay, this is some bullshit. What are we doing? We've got the billionaires going down there. We've got the newspapers, the Washington Post, the LA Times, the MSNBC's Morning Joe. Like all these people are scared to death because Trump is going after press. He sued ABC. ABC settled, which they shouldn't have, but they settled. It's just like, what are you guys doing? You're obeying in advance. So we said no, because there are people out there. We need to harness this collective anger of the 49.5% of the American people who didn't vote for this fucking guy and this bullshit. There's a whole lot of us that are not okay with what's going on and aren't ready to roll over. So we have put together our rallying cry as we go into the new year, and it's called Do Not Obey.
Jeff Bezos, Sam Altman, and Mark Zuckerberg pledging $1 million donations to the Trump Inauguration Fund.
The ABC settlement for $15 million.
The Los Angeles Times will soon be adding Scott Jennings to their editorial board after the owner is now calling for more conservative voices.
Joe and I went to Mar-a-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump.
John Fetterman saying he's a hard yes for Republican Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, posting on Truth Social that he wants Donald Trump to get a pardon.
If there is a way to work with Doge or Elon Musk, I'm going to do that.
This could be a constructive undertaking that ought to be embraced.
Senator Bernie Sanders saying Elon Musk is right. Some Democrats telling ABC News their plan to defeat Republicans in the 2026 midterms is to play nice for now.
It's time to buckle up, Buttercup, because it is about to be on and popping.
I would be worried about Hexbeth running a McDonald's, let alone the Department of Defense. Say goodbye to your smile and say hello to polio.
Nancy Mace wants little girls and women to drop trow in front of who? An investigator? It is disgusting.
I'm really interested in the Democrats rebuilding Abigail Spanberger, who is running for governor in Virginia.
Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill of New Jersey, a former U.S. Navy helicopter pilot who is now running for governor.
Laguna Pueblo member and Secretary of the Interior Deb Haaland is expected to run for governor of New Mexico in 2026.
If Democrats are true to their values, they will do everything they can with the power they have right now, which is limited, to prevent Donald Trump from doing the things that he's already announced he's going to do.
Yes, that's right. Notice anything about who's not obeying in advance? What's the common denominator there?
I see a whole lot of badass women.
Indeed. Because there's so much on the line, and women are stepping up and saying, not no, but hell no. So let's do this. And whether it's running for governor, whether it's speaking out and going after these Republicans. I've had my differences with AOC on lots of things on policy, but man, I applaud her for not backing down. Right. That's what we need. And everybody knows that I love Jasmine Crockett. That's my girl. And, but and there are others. Look, listen, I like Chris Coons. I've never been a real big fan of Ro Khanna, but Chris Coons and even Fetterman, he's right on some things. I mean, he still needs to put on a suit and tie on the Senate floor, but it's not about us saying, okay, forget these guys. It's more like, guys, no, this is not going to earn you brownie points. Right. We need everybody to be fighting on the same team for the same goals in one voice.
And to that point, Hillary Clinton gave an interview to Caitlin Collins. This was back in October. It was October 24th, talking about this very thing. And I would love to play it.
Yeah.
Understand that with an authoritarian personality in power, there is no safe haven. There's always a chance he's impulsive, he's emotional. I think he is unstable, that he will turn on anyone, any individual, any group. for any perceived disloyalty or, comment that he thinks is contrary to, himself or what he is pushing. So I think people need to really think hard, because this is, one thing I know for sure: if you vote for Kamala Harris, you will have the opportunity to disagree with her. You will have the opportunity to vote against her if she runs again. With Donald Trump, I'm not so sure about that, because one of his, wannabe role models is Orban in Hungary, and Orban did get elected and then proceeded to dismantle the institutions of democracy. So that's what people need to be worried about.
She's right. She was right.
She usually is.
I mean, she was
About
right.
this stuff, she's right. And our friend, former Congressman Denver Riggleman, posted on Blue Sky today, who is also an advisor for the Seneca Project. Said, I was the senior technical advisor for the January 6th Select Committee. I don't want a pardon. I want a bar fight.
This is why we love Denver. And if I were ever in a bar fight, I would want him on my side. Listen, the idea, what he's talking about is the fact that Donald Trump is going after, saying they're going to go after Liz Cheney and members of the January 6th committee for witness tampering, and it's some kind of other nonsense, which is absolute bullshit. And there's nothing criminal about what they were doing as investigators within their powers on the committee.
Which again, the media is shitting the bed here, because they're reporting this as though it's a possibility that they had done something wrong, or that this is normal at all.
Right. There's no there. This is batshittery. Just like Donald Trump suing Ann Seltzer, the pollster from in Iowa, from the Des Moines Register, for getting the poll wrong. What? I mean, this is cuckoo stuff. But this is what Trump said he would do. He's going to use the levers of power and weaponize the courts to go after his enemies. And there are people who are saying that Joe Biden should preemptively pardon folks like the January 6th committee members and others, because to shield them from any of this. And that's why Denver was like, fuck off. I don't want a pardon. Come for me then. Come for me, because I did nothing wrong and I stand by the work that I did. And Adam Kinzinger is another one. All these people have targets on them, and I applaud them for standing up to it, because, Michelle, you brought this up recently about meeting the moment. Yeah. Now is the time to meet the moment. Our great grandparents and our grandparents crossed oceans, to your point, and fought a world war.
Yep.
I mean, what are we asking people to do now?
My mom sent me a video yesterday of the bunkers that are still the holes in the ground from the Battle of the Bulge, all through that forest, and how you can go look at them. And my Uncle Kay survived the Battle of the Bulge.
Wow.
And he passed away when I was about 8 or 9 years old. And I think about that. And, his brother, who's my grandfather, my other grandfather, I know your grandfather too, Tara.
Yep.
Was in the war, and both my grandparents were in the Pacific. And I think about that kind of sacrifice at that age.
Right. My grandfather was 17.
Yeah.
He was 17. He lied about his age to go.
And listen, we're not backing down here at the Seneca Project. I'm not backing down, Michelle Kinney. You are not backing down, Tara Setmayer. It's not because, I'm not afraid. No, this is scary shit. This is scary. I would be lying if I didn't say it makes me nervous. But you know what? It's worth it. People have been through worse, have sacrificed more. We can do hard things. We can.
Yep.
And you know what? We have a better chance of surviving this if all of us do it.
That's right.
All
That's
of
right.
us.
And courage is contagious.
Mm-hmm.
So,
just like fear.
That's correct. So that's why we're going to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we hope that everyone continues to support what we're doing, spread the word.
Yeah.
We're going to need a considerable amount of resources in order to be able to do these things. And it's just like we have to. There's the alternative is defeat. The alternative is rolling over, and we can't do that.
No. I again, we were talking about Winston Churchill, right? Being the courageous one in the beginning years and days, months of World War II, when a lot of people were just like, I'll do business with Hitler. It's fine.
Yeah, like, no, it's not fine.
Right.
So that's where we are. That's our position. You know, we're going to obviously continue to watch what's going on, continue to call it out, continue to give credit where credit is due for those who are meeting the moment and standing up.
I would like to give some credit to a couple people. One member of Congress, another senator, that it seems as though I felt like last night or maybe yesterday at some point, a bunch of Democrats got on the phone, younger, I like in the 50s.
Yeah. Well,
got on the phone. Well, young comparatively to
yes.
Got on the phone and said, we need a clear message. And we need to say the following things because a bunch of people were on TV last night saying the same stuff. And I was like,
yes,
finally. Here is
discipline.
Here's a clip of Senator Murphy of Connecticut.
I think it's really important to explain to people the why, right? Why is Donald Trump engaged in this relentless campaign to try to silence journalists, media companies, and his political opposition? It's because he's trying to steal from you. He and his friends are in charge of government because they want to rig the rules in order to make them even richer. The billionaires that are in charge of this cabinet want to be multi-billionaires. Donald Trump will never be satiated. He wants to steal from ordinary Americans in order to make him and his Mar-a-Lago friends even richer. And the reason that he wants to silence his critics and silence the media is that he doesn't want anybody to notice the kleptocracy that he is building. Unless you tell that story, right, how does it impact you, right? Because, I mean, does the average citizen really care about whether ABC News settles a lawsuit or not? No, but they do care if the result of that is that their Social Security gets cut in half so that Elon Musk and Peter Thiel can get another massive tax cut. That matters to people. That story is the one that we have to get out there.
That is absolutely correct. I would only have one small critique, is that instead of using the word kleptocracy, because most people don't know what that is, you need to put that, billionaires, the elite class, the money class.
The 1%.
Right, the 1%ers. I mean, I hate to sound like Bernie Sanders.
I know, but
it's plain language. People know that the millionaires and the billionaires. So that's how you communicate. He's exactly right.
Yeah, and here's Congressman Goldman of New York last night as well.
Up against the budget, the government shutting down on Friday, having nothing to do with the debt ceiling. And I am really concerned that Donald Trump is so senile or off that he is not able to compute what he's saying. And because it makes absolutely no sense to have an 11th hour demand to raise the debt ceiling on another president's watch when it doesn't need to be raised right now. If you're president for 4 years, you understand that's a non-starter. And I don't know whether this is a competency issue or this is bluster or what it is, but I am a little concerned that he would make this demand at this stage. I'm concerned about his mental capacity.
Yes. Somebody sent out a memo. Maybe they're on a group chat. I don't know. Maybe they're on a group text.
I hope they are. I want to be on that group
Oh
chat.
my gosh. Well, folks, we're going to wrap it up, but I want to just say that this has been an incredible year. And I want to thank everyone that has supported the Seneca Project. We are still a young startup. We're 6 months old, basically. We launched almost exactly 6 months ago. Today. And it's been an incredible journey. And Michelle, I'm thrilled to be in this fight with you. I would not want to be on anybody else's team doing this without you. And our incredible team at the Seneca Project. Everyone, you guys know who you are. The editors that we've worked with, you guys know who you are. Shout out to New York Betty for their amazing work.
And I also want to give a shout out to, we have a couple guys that write for The Daily Show that help us out with video content every now and then. And I've worked with them for a couple of years, and they created because we talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
They're like, we're dead inside. I was like, we're all dead inside. But like in a way that we're just, they watch Fox News all day long. So they were trying to find a way in their own personal lives and free time to
it's cathartic for them.
Yeah, and to have some fun. And they created this sort of like animated series. It's called Alien Super Show, and it's on YouTube. And it's like Mystery Science Theater 3000 meets like Fox News. And so if you're not into that Mystery Science Theater thing, that might not be for you, but it is very, very funny.
The clips I saw were funny. It's very witty. It's funny. If you like The Daily Show, kind of late night humor like that, Comedy Central humor.
They get great guests.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really good. And so we appreciate all of them and our Seneca Project team, Mallory and Nate and Tim and everyone that works with us. This has been amazing. And even though the result wasn't what we wanted, we still saw movement. We saw down ballot gains. The House is closer than it would have been. The Democrats won 6 more seats in the House, turned 6 seats back over to Democrat this time around. Mm-hmm. So there's still reason to believe that there is hope, and that when you galvanize women in particular, but when you galvanize good folks who want to preserve democracy, good things can still happen. So as we head into the new year, we wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, and do not obey in advance. We'll be here on the other side. So to everyone, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'll see you in 2025.